All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Elevate1 podcast, which is season 2 of A Student of the Game. We've got another episode coming on with someone very exciting that I've known for quite a bit of time, and I'm very intrigued and ready for you guys to hear his story and kind of the different chapters and things that he's gone through to get to this point in life. So I'd like to start by welcoming this episode's teacher as we dive into the game of life, Mr. Christopher Jenkins. How you doing today?
It's an honor, man. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you being on. So, as always, I like to always start these episodes, just kind of getting into the root of where everything began. And for everyone, it is a very different story as to where their, entrepreneurial and their business and their mindset of competitiveness began and kind of where they became who they are. And we all, get to that point at different places, right? We all have different pivot points. We all have different, moments. I'd like to know kind of where you began, being this version of you. Where did Christopher Jenkins, as he is today, really start to blossom?
Yeah, man. I think kind of like with most people is like when the back is against the wall, And for me, I'd have to say just starting it all out, probably as a college dropout, Finished high school, went to play some college ball, and didn't finish. And so from there, you're just like, okay, well, now what?
Yeah.
And, took a couple different opportunities back home playing some ball, and that was good. I got a lot of experience.
Talk to me about your family. I mean, what's your family situation?
Oh, yeah. So mom and dad, both alive, great parents, weren't together, but, they're both remarried and living great lives. So
brothers, sisters?
I do have a younger sister, yes,
okay.
Sir. Pretty big age gap, so I'm 11 years older than her.
So she wasn't someone that you could look to for answers?
Definitely
or
not.
nothing like that?
I was the only child growing up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, coming out of college and I completely understand that, right? We've had guys on, and I know that story where, and here's the thing, and I say this for myself too. A lot of times when you go into what I call post-high school, I think post-high school is when your life begins, right? Everything before high school, you just kind of, you're going through the motions, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And I think once you graduate high school is when your life starts, right? Now it's like on you. And it's natural for a lot of people in high school or in those early ages to kind of put all their eggs in one basket. And I for sure did. I put all my eggs in the basket of I'm going to join the military, right? I don't need to know a second plan. I don't need a plan B because this was it. Mm-hmm. And I see that a lot with sports, right? And it's a tough reality because, the amount of people who make it to be able to turn sports into a profession is so slim.
Super.
You're talking about 97, 98% of athletes that have to one day just wake up and now you have to find, what's next. And the vast majority of them don't have that, right? So, what happened then? You obviously, the sports, kind of didn't pan out, and then what?
So from there, took the opportunity. So my mom had moved down to Texas. And
from where?
Chicago.
Okay.
And so, I was up there. I wasn't doing great, in and out of trouble. So definitely was just really stagnant in my life at a very critical point in my life.
Yeah.
And so, my mom was just like, hey, man, come on down here. Texas is nice. It's, a lot of opportunities out here. And one thing in the Midwest we don't have a problem with is a work ethic, I mean, we're going to go to work.
Oh, it's way different.
So,
yeah.
Coming from that region and then coming down here with my workman mentality, it panned out really well, really fast. I got a gig, got another gig, and it's just like, man, y'all giveaway jobs out here in Texas, dude. It's hard to get a gig back at Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
So, definitely a big opportunity to move to Texas, really across the country, and just start.
Okay, well, let's pause there for a second, right? Because I think that goes a lot of times undernoticed, right? Because I've got people that I mentor nowadays who have some awesome opportunities to advance their careers, and yours was a little bit different, right? Which is I have no choice, but I think there's so many people who are intimidated to up and move, right? And for me, I think it's difficult for me to really give great counsel because I've done it multiple times. For me, it's no big deal because I understand on the other end of that is better. It may be a small percentage better, or in certain situations when I've moved, my whole life changed for the better. Mm-hmm. But so many people are absolutely afraid of that, which I understand. If you don't know, you don't know.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, talk to me about that. Talk to me about when that kind of came up and it was the idea that, hey, maybe you should move to Texas. How difficult was that? How easy was it?
It was tough, man. So, full disclosure, I had a whole girl back home, and, we were together, and, the whole plan was, oh, you going to move down with me, Obviously, that didn't happen. Happily married now.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it was scary, man, because I grew up with some real tight-knit friends, and we were all kind of back home doing our thing. And I was kind of getting stuck. You know, they were all still in school. You know, they were doing well in college, you know, joining fraternities, all kind of cool shit. And I'm just, you know, supporting them, obviously. But I'm doing my thing, too, just not to the greatest, obviously, potential that I could have. And so when I, like, presented that to my friends, and I was just like, man, what's up, man? I'm going to probably move to Texas, you know. They all really gave me the push I needed.
Like they were supportive.
They were, man. And they were nervous for me, but they knew that, you know, I kept hearing them. You know, it's funny they say it, you know, it's just like, if anybody going to make it work, it's you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, facts, right? It's me. Like, I'm going to make this happen. And so that was what I needed to hear, man. And so my friends really played a huge part. Obviously, my dad, you know, he was excited for me, and he wanted me to get out his hair anyway. So he was like, yeah, now in Texas, you know.
Get up out of here, go.
Yeah, get up out of here, go. I think it's super, super important that, you know, you get out of your hometown, you know, at a certain stage in your life. Yeah. You got to get out of there, man. Like, even if you're from a big city, small city, really doesn't matter, man. You got to get out of there. And it's important to just have that fresh start, you know, good or bad. You know, I was able to get out here in Texas and really kind of create a new identity for myself, and whoever I, you know, saw myself to be, I can now portray that. And, you know, I don't have that thought in the back of my head like, you know, maybe he know that I'm, you know, this type of way, you know. Like,
yeah, I mean, one thing I want to put out there that I'm glad you brought up is that fresh start. I mean, a lot of times it's not necessarily that you need an adjustment or a change because this isn't working. But, man, we have to – for me, I've always said if you really want to master being a great human, you have to be very conscious of natural human pitfalls, things that human beings will naturally fall victim to. And if you're real with yourself and you're honest with yourself, you can overcome those things. And one of those things that is always going to happen is your motivation starts to fluster as you're in a certain situation for an extended period of time, right? You know, I believe, to give an example, you know, when Bill Belichick decides to take on another opportunity, I think there's going to be a new fire that he hasn't had because it's a fresh place. Yeah. And that's regardless of your discipline and your skill set and your ability to implement, you know, procedures, there's always excitement with new. And there's always a level of traction that comes with excitement. Mm-hmm. Now, will excitement make you successful? Absolutely not, right? Mm-hmm. But it'll at least get you started. Right. And if you already have at least certain attributes that are going to create success, like I think for your situation, it's similar to mine when I first moved. I wasn't a tacticianer, right? I wasn't a super, you know, poised and well-informed business person, but I had that grind. You know what I mean? I had that hustle in me. Right. So I think that fresh start, that move gave me a head start, and then that hustle was able to carry me. For sure. And then that hustle, you know, obviously I then, you know, probably the both of us decided, hey, we've got to transition that in a skill set. But man, that fresh start could be literally life-changing for certain people, but Absolutely. It's a very intimidating thing. It's easier said than done on a mic than it is to actually go apply into your life, right?
Hey man, dude, like, and I did the full thing, you know, the whole paradigm shift. I moved down here, I had hair, I cut my hair. You know, like I literally did a full 180.
For a reason? Like it was all intentional?
Maybe looking back on it now, sure. But when I was doing it, no. I just was really just trying to get in my own bag, man. Like, you know, being back home, I was a certain way. And I was able to kind of just literally come out here to Texas and change my own personal mentality. And it's a lot easier to do that when no one knows you. Yeah. You know, like you can kind of not be an actor, but you know,
you can completely shift who you are.
You can completely shift who you are, and no one's gonna just be like, "Oh, well, man, you not," you know. Yeah. So that was really helpful for me, you know. And yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely more of a fake it till you make it situation. But then once you make it, you got to put the foot on the gas.
That's it. I mean, and that is. I mean, I've always said that is life. At the end of the day, there's the person that you see in the mirror, right? And the person that you actually are could be miles away from who you see in the mirror. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, life is about, or at least the progression of your life is about taking what you see in the mirror, whatever persona that is, whatever person that is, and working towards making that the person that I see or you see or they see. Right. Because they are two different people, and that's your potential, and that's the greatness that lies within you, and you've got to go make that a reality. So, yeah, it is easy. You move somewhere where nobody knows, you know, the person that they used to see, and you could just change that overnight. Yeah. Again, then you got to back it up, or they're going to figure that out. You know, there's got to be some backup. So you get out here. You know, talk to me about, you know, when the journey begins. Where the places you fell, and kind of as, you know, things started to change, the different opportunities you had.
Yeah. So came out here, man. Shout out to my mom, man. I'm a very humble guy, and I started out working at Dairy Queen. But, man, oh, man, was I the coldest Dairy Queen worker you ever had, bro. Listen, when I tell you, man, like, I used to have people coming in like, hey, man, is he here? Because, I want him to make, I really
He's giving out free food, y'all. So.
Absolutely was plugging you. If you got like a double, you was getting 4 patties.
Yeah.
But man, past that, I think it was just more of a how you do anything is how you do everything mentality, right? And one thing that I kind of unlocked myself when I moved out here to Texas, and I kind of still apply this everywhere. I had a manager, man. He asked me, hey, man, can you take the trash out? And I took it right out when he asked me, right? I didn't think twice about it. I just literally took it out. Mm-hmm. And maybe 10 minutes later, he looked and he was like, wait, you took that trash out already? And he was mind blown, And I'm just like, yeah, bro, I took it out when you asked me. But then it just kind of showed me that just like, the mindset out here, just that Southern hospitality draw, things like that. It's a little slower than it is in the Midwest or, in a bigger city.
Yeah,
region,
let's call a spade, right? There's a lot of laziness.
A lot of laziness out here.
Listen, the truth is when you get to, and this is the thing, if you've only been here, you don't know, but when you get to some of these bigger cities in the South, we're begging people for jobs. They're not scarce. There's right now as we're speaking, there's 1 million job openings out that window, and they're desperate for employees. And it's because everybody, if we're being realistic, the vast majority of people are lazy. They're looking for the path of least resistance. They're looking to do the least amount. Yeah. And I love the point that you're getting on because I've had this conversation with some very hyper successful people. Sam and I talked about this on an episode that we did, and Sam's someone that I've looked up to for years, right? Someone that makes me feel that I'm not doing nearly what I should be doing. And he talked on the exact same thing and how he got into the bar industry and, started off at the totem pole and just said, look, man, I'm going to be someone that takes pride in doing what you ask me to do as soon as you ask me, right? In my ability to just execute on the mission. And if you give me a task, just having that trust that, hey, I'm going to do it. It's done. You tell me it's done. Yeah. And that is not something that is super common down here, right? But it's also something that I've seen to be so common in hyper successful people. That innate mentality, that innate characteristic really translates into real success, and it really translates into growth that creates very, winning mentalities. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome that you brought that up because it's difficult because you're doing things, right? It's work. But in the reality, you don't need intuition or experience or knowledge. You just got to make a commitment to yourself that when somebody says, hey, knock this out, you're like, I got it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For sure. So how are you, my question is, obviously I want to know kind of your journey, but I also want to know the development of your mind and how you became who you are. How are you knowing these things? You just doing them because it's how you were raised, or that these things are going to lead to success?
Yeah, man, definitely. So, I split the life up kind of front 9, back 9, right? So first 9 years of my life, I was with my mom. And then the second half, not back 9, I was with my dad. And then that's the 18 years, right? And then I go and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And it was really critical for me to be with my dad on the kind of the, latter half. And he was always real big on, doing everything just the right way. Like if, say, for instance, I had an extension cord and we were doing some lawn work, don't just throw the extension cord in the garage all bunched up, Take the time, wrap it up, put it away correctly, right? And like just those small things, over time, it stacks up. Yeah, it does. And so it just cracks me up now. Like, yeah, man, I definitely have that mentality where like when we had fundraisers for football or something like that, dude, I was crushing those cats, bro. I was the number one guy, right? And I just think it's a cool mentality to have regardless what you're doing. If you're at your own, you're doing, your own lawn work, for instance, and if you really put your all into your yard work, by the time that's done, dude, you're going to look better than every other house.
Of course.
And so, yeah, man, that's just kind of how I've been wired. And, shout out to Pops for that because he definitely, instilled just some real, core values as far as it goes with that.
So what happens after Dairy Queen? Obviously, you're still not at Dairy Queen.
Yeah, no, right? Shucks, right? So after DQ, man, I kind of got into the sales world out here. I could sell ice to an Eskimo, man. I'm very confident in my sales ability, as you know. Yep. And so I got into a business, ironic enough, where I met my wife, and we were selling magazine subscriptions. And so it was just basic call center stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I got in there and I crushed it, right? And I was doing so well. And I'm just like, man, I'm really, I might got a future with this sales stuff. And so kind of just took that mentality with my hustle because, if you do enough things the right way enough times, bro, you're going to hit, right? Some stuff's going to start falling into place. And so fast forward all that, just real quick, I do want to get to my wife part of it because that kind of is how I kind of ventured away from that. obviously conflict of interest, man. Like,
Yeah.
she put me in a position where she's say, hey, me the job. And obviously I chose her. And, I kind of got out of there. And then that's when I got into the fitness industry. I was at Fitness Connection for a little while, and I ended up coming over to LA. But, yeah, man, definitely from Dairy Queen, I got into the sales force, met my queen, and from there was just kind of like, all right, well, I can't work here anymore. I'm making great money. I was doing my thing, but, it was a stressful thing to do.
Yeah.
Working with your wife. And
Yeah, that's tough.
It's
that's
tough, bro. Like, yeah,
that's
it just,
tough.
you
can't get away.
She wasn't even my wife thing, so
Yeah.
obviously. So, yeah, man, got out of there and got into the fitness sales industry. And so from there, kind of definitely compounded some success for sure.
So, and I think, this is in your story where, I kind of come into play and when my existence kind of becomes a part of it, which is a pretty cool story to say now in hindsight, right?
Absolutely, dude.
But I'd love for you to, kind of talk about how that happened, how that played out, how we met, and kind of what transpired over the course of your professional career over that period of time.
Yeah, man. So, I know you got a big head and all, but very pivotal point in my life was when you kind of obviously came in and really kind of shifted just the way I saw things as far as it goes with me personally, right? Because when you kind of doing your thing and you're doing well, you ain't really listening to too many other people, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And so, man, right, where was I, at Grapevine?
Yeah.
I was blowing it up at Grapevine. Absolutely crushing it, right? Everybody's on the thread, just, oh, this guy's great, I don't know. And they're like, hey, man, you're getting a new VP. I'm like, all right, cool. He's a black guy, whatever. I bet, I'm thinking it's gravy,
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, we meet and you just completely, we go through systems, things like that. You tear the wall down, man. He's like, I'm not going to lie, man. You suck. You're getting demoted. You're going to go to Ridgemar and you're going to be an AGM. And I'm just like, bro, what? Hit the brakes. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? And, we went through that. But that was important for me, man, because, swagger and, wherewithal can only take you so far.
Yeah.
It does take some structure and it does take some discipline and it definitely helped me getting under your system as far as it goes with that because, shit, we started bonus. Man, me and Alonzo was Shaq and Kobe over at Ridgemont, man. We was bonusing left and right. I ended up getting promoted out of there, obviously, and then, the story goes on. But, you held up your end of the bargain. You was just like, dude, if you just listen to me, and it's tough, man, because I don't like to listen.
Yeah.
I'm a headstrong guy. I like to think my way is the right way. And I definitely took a lot of your heat. And we had great leaders, obviously, shout out Kurt, Neil, all of them. And, just listening to all of that, it's hard to, if you're a bum after what we went through, and dude, it's tough, man.
It's not possible.
It's kind of hard to, man. We were raised with wolves, literally, with this sales stuff. And so, you take that, you take my actual talent, what's the term? How's it go? Talent beats hard work when hard work.
You know
how it goes.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly. And I had the talent and I wasn't working hard.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, but one thing I will say in a testament to it, to kind of give some lessons in life, right, is your understanding of things is always relative to what you know, right? And you don't know that you're not working hard or that you are not at your full potential or that you're not at full efficiency, which is what I focus on most. If you've never seen anything better, right? If this is all you know, this is all you know. Mm-hmm. Like, my best perspective is if I hired you at a McDonald's, and this was the worst McDonald's ever, I think that if you're smart, you may be able to deduct that, hey, this isn't great, but there's no way for you to know how efficient and how well organized this could be because you haven't seen it. Yeah. You only know what you know, and it's not until somebody comes in with a system and a structure that you actually go, man, we could be doing so much more. And from and you brought it up from a philosophy standpoint when it comes to business, and this is how I operate, and anyone who works in any of my companies knows, I enjoy and I think the best way to make people as successful as they can be is to create processes and systems that eliminate their skill set. I want it to be to where you can create success without being good at what you do. And if that is something that we can build, all of your skill set becomes icing. It becomes extra. It becomes a thing that takes you over the top. And the problem is when you don't have great processes, you don't have great structure, you don't have great organization, you're relying on your talent just to get you afloat, just to get you to pass. And if we could create systems, processes, and organizations that are going to get you afloat, your skill set, man, is going to make you sail. And that's always been for me what I've tried to instill in people. But there's always, and here's the point you made perfectly. When you're successful, remember it's a relative concept. So your success could be you're just doing the best you've ever done. It doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's the best you've ever done.
For sure.
It's really difficult for you to heave advice from someone unless it's just flat out obvious that you're better than me. And in a lot of cases, it's not flat out obvious. I mean, unless you pull up in a Lamborghini, there's going to be a little bit of pushback. There's going to be a little bit of resistance to what you're trying to tell me because I am relatively successful. I'm doing the best I've ever done, and what you're saying is almost opposite of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to think that you're right because what I'm doing is working. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that to me for anyone and everyone who is, trying to turn around their business or take on, organizations that need to be flipped or whatever the case may be. I have a philosophy, and this is kind of what I use with you, and this is what I've used with a lot of different people. In order to build something back up the best way, the unfortunate but necessary part is you have to break it down, because they have assembled this structure of how they want to do things. And you can't just kind of go in and start tweaking. Right. It's going to take too long, and you're going to get too much resistance. And in the interim of me trying to tweak it, your success is going to go down, and then you're going to think, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. My philosophy has always been you go in and you absolutely just destroy the entire castle. You break it down into crumbles, and then you look the guy dead in his face and you say, listen, don't worry because I got you. And I just need you to trust me right now that we're going to build this thing back up, and when it's built, it's going to be 5 times better than it was before. And not everybody will, but you have to ask for that. And fortunately, for a lot of the different people that I've been through, and you trusted me. Mm-hmm. And we built that thing back up 6-7 times fold, right? Sure. But that's the challenge. That's the challenge in turning around organizations or picking up failing businesses is you got to really destroy it. I mean, you have to metaphorically, literally, if you had a Lego block, you just got to break it, and it's just going to be crumble. And then you got to look at whoever built that first one and put sweat and energy and tears into it, and you got to say, listen, man, we're going to get this thing back together, and I just need you to not beat me up because I destroyed your Lego building. No, for sure. And then we start building, and it's very rare that I've had some conversations with people who've been through this with me that I've, taken under my wing. Marco and I had a good conversation, but our relationship's obviously a little bit different. And this has always been my philosophy and what I was taught. And I'm not necessarily certain that it always comes off that crisp or that it delivers that crisp. Mm-hmm. And I am curious if it did with you.
I think we had a little different dynamic because obviously we're both minorities in this industry. Well, just not even in this industry, in this country.
In
right?
the world, yeah.
Yeah, in the world. And so at some point, I had to just be like, man, brother to brother, like, all right, man, he's got me. Like, that was a leap of faith, bro, because I was at a real kind of make or break point, and obviously COVID happened and no one's working there anymore now, but we'll get into that. But the leap of faith, it made it easy because you never really came, I mean, bro, you never really come into a situation and kind of, switch up. And I think that's important because you came in and you told me I sucked and you stood on it. And it's just like, damn. And so, I really had to really kind of look in and really fix, my habits. And when I did, commission checks booming, bonus checks booming, right? So I was like, all right, bet. Well, all right, I'll listen. Yeah. You would light us up on those conference calls and stuff like that, but that come with the territory, man. Like, it just is what it is. I've always been that guy. Like, I didn't mind a hard coach or, nothing like that. Like, yeah. You're good, man. Talk to me how you want. I don't care. Let's get the job done, though. And so, at the end of the day, we were both kind of money motivated, and that's all I needed, And once I saw that you were all in on making us some pay, I was like, all right, let's do it. I'm ready to do it. And so that was more of the, the trust factor.
Yeah, we had the same interests. Yeah. And I've always said, I've said this to a lot of different guys, not just you, but Art. I've said this to Art too. A lot of the cats that went through the same situations it's. I was talking to a very good friend of mine the other day, and we were actually discussing kind of the relationship that I've had with some of you guys. And it's, for me, I think someone asked me recently, it was the other day, and they said, what is the best thing that someone can do for you and make you feel great? And I said, man, to be honest with you, when my guys kind of just give me their trust, I've had some of you guys have been like, look, man, and it's big for me. They're like, dude, I'll follow you. Just tell me what to do. Right. And that ability to just concede and believe in me as a leader, man, like all this, and this is my shit, so I can say whatever I want. All this shit, this can come and go. I've said this before. You can take all this shit away and I'll get it back because it's in me, right? The cars and the success and the house, man, I can get all this shit back. You can take it. But guys, grown men, full-grown men with wives and kids and livelihoods and have been on this planet, kind of looking at you going, look, man, I'm with you. That to me is the greatest testament to, what I'm trying to do.
No, for sure.
Because it's never been on some follow me because I want to be bigger than you. It's always been, man, we can get here.
Dude, let's win.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
facts. That's always been the vibe.
In that same conversation, I was talking to a great friend, and I said, look, man, I've urged people to just listen, not because I'm better, but because straight up, to make a long story short, I'm the compilation of many great people. Because I applied years. I dedicated my life towards becoming someone that could lead. And it wasn't like I just made all this up. I mean, I have studied and I've put interest, and I have great mentors. Kurt taught me millions of things. Kurt is one of the most successful people I've ever seen, let alone worked under. I mean, a human being that I've laid eyes on, let alone that this dude mentored me for almost a year, 2 years. George Kingland is almost polar opposite, but equally as good. So I've been under and worked with some of the most fantastic human beings you can come across. And I just tell people, listen, man, you could take the years and effort and energy to go learn all that, or you could just listen to what I'm saying. And that's always been my mission. And for me, the greatest testament to the respect that some of the guys have had for me is just like, dude, just tell us where you want us to go. And I have so much respect for that, because that to me is the greatest tap of acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
It's because it's one thing to say, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, and to refer me to people, but it's another thing to like bet on me, to say, look, man, I'm just whatever you need. That's betting your livelihood, your family, your career, your income. I mean, that's huge, and that's always been one of the greatest testaments, and that's one of the reasons, bringing you on this episode that I wanted to bring that up is because, in front of everyone and for record to have forever, I want to tell you that I appreciate that.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Because as a man and as a competitive man, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to look at another grown man and be like, yo, I'm going to concede to you. And when I've done that, and the people that I've done that with, it's because I had an infinite level of respect. And more importantly, I trusted and truly believed that they had my best interest at heart. And kind of on a full circle moment, it's difficult for me to truly believe, although I've now seen it, that there are people who see me the way that I saw them.
Right.
Because I put them on such a high level of pedestal and respect that I was like, there's no way I could reach that.
Right now, real talk.
But it's such a dope full circle moment to see that there are people who are like, Kev, you're that for me. Yeah. And I've always said to those guys, man, it's not a condescending or belittling thing. It's just a relationship. It's kind of our roles at this point in life, and I appreciate it, because 20 years from now, you may be that for me. I may be in a retirement home, and you got to buy that retirement home and fix it for me. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I want to say, man to man, I do appreciate that.
Likewise, brother.
And, before I kind of carry on in your story, I think this would be an awesome opportunity as we talk about a relationship. Some people know I went to Peru, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago or something, and Chris just bought his house that we're going to get into shortly, but I promised him that I would get him a housewarming gift. So it is some antique artifact that's for his house, man.
Dude,
so I just wanted to present that to you, man.
Wow. From Peru.
Straight up from Peru.
Man.
So
that's amazing, bro.
Shout out. So talk
that's
to me. Coming out of LA, LA Fitness is where we were at, owned by Fitness International. Coming out of that chapter, obviously COVID really changed a lot. That's where I saw everybody kind of make their pivot points. I mean, we had a real tight-knit group of some real dogs, some real hustlers.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if you really put together that whole unit of people we have, and you break down where we all have broken up into in separation, we're talking about a group of people who right now in their own companies collectively generate about $250 million in revenue.
Absolutely.
So we're not talking about no small fish.
No, we're talking about
some
dogs.
Some elite people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what happens from there? Where's your journey take us? Obviously, we're getting more into current time.
Yeah. So all right, COVID happens, right? The world shuts down, and I did the furlough option at LA, and man, the unemployment checks were cool, but I had to live, bro. Like, so back to the humble mentality of myself, I ended up working at Trader Joe's, catching that. What was it, like it was like the essential workers pay. Mm-hmm. I was chilling in Trader Joe's, right? And fast forward, even after Trader Joe's, picked up a pizza delivery job, like just kind of doing whatever I could.
Whatever it took.
Dude, whatever it took. And that's just the type of guy I am. You know, LA, you know, closing down sucked, bro. Like, but COVID hit everybody hard. It wasn't just me. And so it really helped, like you said, you know, being in that circle and being around those people, man. Like, I'm seeing everybody do their own thing and, like, winning. And it's just like, man, I got to figure something out. I can't be the only one left out.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, who you are and who you hang around, you know, that's kind of how you really live your life. And so, like, I was around y'all, man. I listened. You know what I'm saying? I took a lot of heat into that. And so I took that and, you know, fast forward until now. But so after COVID, right, I'm doing all of these BS jobs. And shout out to my boy Fred Van Vliet, the all-star for Houston, man. I kind of bet on myself, man. That's his moniker. And, you know, it's tough seeing somebody make $85 million and you was in algebra class with this cat.
Yeah,
like, it's just like, man, bro, like, I'm just like, everybody's winning. I got to win. I got to get a piece of this pie. So I really did. I bet on myself, bro. I've always done security, right? I've always been a bouncer. That's kind of, you know, it's a difference now between being a bouncer and security. But when you're a bouncer, you know, whatever, right? I'm a big dude. I've always broke up fights, put people out, whatever. That's always been a lane for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, the night world is just as much as an industry, you know, that nightlife industry is just as much as an industry as the fitness industry I was in, obviously the food and beverage industry I was in. And so, yeah, man, I was working as a server at just a little Tex-Mex restaurant and finally just kind of got fed up, man. They was tripping on these hours. Like, I'm working 14, 15-hour shifts, bro, bringing in ends. I'm just like, dude, this ain't going to cut it, bro. And so I kind of really, like, just went all in. And, like, my wife was – I'm obviously married at this point. And my wife wasn't happy with it, man. She was like, no, like, you know, keep working. Like, don't just, you know, what are you talking about? Get a security license and all of this. Like, she wasn't on board. And I was just, you know, at a point, I was just like, dude, you got to trust me now, right? Like, just know that I know what I know. And, yeah, so I ended up, you know, going through the process of getting my security stuff in order. I got my level 2. After the level 2, you get your level 3. And the level 3 to the level 4, it's basically where, like, I could protect people, but I couldn't protect them in street clothes and things like that, right? I couldn't take it on planes, things like that. And so just to kind of put it all in a nutshell, you know, getting it from my level 3 to my level 4 is a huge, huge accomplishment. And, you know, getting the private protection, you know, license is huge. And, I mean, it's something that I don't take lightly.
Yeah, hold on. Before we get into that, right, because obviously I want to discuss, you know, that situation and kind of what your current endeavor is and talk about that and, you know, obviously get some broadcast out for that. But talk to me about the decision, because that's much bigger than, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I believe when you go in all on something and you have hustle and you have drive, it's going to work. But the leap to do that is a lot of pressure, and especially for people who aren't. Fortunately for you spent years in sales, so you have the understanding that, you know, you only eat what you hunt. You know, but for the vast majority of average people, they don't know that. You know, they're not hunters, right? And that's the thing I bring up most commonly is, and this is a side quest, but I tell people all the time, man, you want to learn how to truly be a winner, you need to get into sales. I'm not saying you need to dedicate your whole life to sales, but do it for a year or two, do it for 2 years, whatever. Because if we tracked back us, who we are as people, back to the ancient history of human beings, right? If we went back all the way back to the Neanderthal years, we would be hunter-gatherers. We would be the people who left the community, left the colony to go hunt for weeks on a time to bring back food. That's who we are. That's what we do. And those people are typically the most competitive individuals. You know, and I've got some rapid-fire questions for you that are going to probably pick your brain on these things. But those things give you a little bit more accessibility and belief in yourself to make that jump, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy, right? So first off, you know, why that industry? You know, how tough was it to make that decision? Obviously, you discussed a little bit about your conversations with your wife, you know, and how much did you know about it? Did you know nothing about it? And what did you have to learn and or do to get that plane off the ground?
Yeah, man. All right. So, and we'll probably have to revisit those questions, and steps. But so the decision, right? The way to do it. Shout out my boy Bryce, man. Bryce got me a gig at a security little firm, and I was just going different venues and doing that route. Man, it's tough with security because you really genuinely got to protect people, right? Like, and that means from themselves, from other people. And I'm an offensive lineman to my core. Just give you a little background on my sports history. I love to be an O-lineman. That's my like love for the game, right? And I was literally, you're built to protect. Like, that's just what we do. That's what I do. I make sure the QB don't get hurt, whatever the case, right? Mm-hmm. So I think protection is really huge for me. Just kind of how I operate. And obviously I'm not a small guy, so it kind of makes it a little easier for me.
Yeah.
So being paid to protect people is a really good lane. And honestly, man, just with my back being against the wall, let me look at the camera. Dude, I hate clocking in. I hate clocking in, bro. You don't understand. Having to clock in on someone else's watch, bro, it's bad, man. It really just makes me so upset. And I was just at a point in my life where, like, after COVID happened, like, if you didn't make money during COVID, that kind of just spells out who you are as a person.
I agree.
I mean, dude, like,
a lot of dudes sat on their ass.
Come on, man. Like, it was a reset for everybody. We talked about fresh starts earlier.
Yeah.
Dude, like, after COVID, you could have been whatever you wanted to.
It was a level playing field.
Literally, right? And so I took advantage of that, man. I definitely kind of delved in more into, like, my health. I mean, you knew me when I was a big dude. I really kind of tapped in and really getting in shape, you know? And that was important for me. 30 was knocking.
Yeah. There's that pressure, right?
It was, bro.
I know, man.
I'm
feeling that pressure. That pressure's coming
and it's
quick.
tough, bro, because, man, I've been a big kid my whole life, right? And so it's been important for me with self-esteem and everything else, just to really get in shape. Mm-hmm. Like, I had never – football shape and in shape is different shapes.
Yeah, very different.
Absolutely. And so definitely getting in shape helped me. And just with my mind and spirituality and things like that, man, definitely working out helps a ton towards that. And who to thunk it, right? But,
you don't know until you know. Well, here, the weirdest part is, so I've said this, I want to give some side notes because I want to stick to premise, but there's a lot. So what I try to do when I get this opportunity to speak to people is, you guys do an amazing job at explaining your life's journey. And what I try to do my best of is influence the mindset you had and the the things below the surface as to why you made certain decisions. One thing I listened to that you said was that how important it was that you were an offensive lineman. Because first off, guys, to me, that is I think mentally that's the toughest job in football. It's definitely not the hardest. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not. I don't think it's the hardest job. I think cornerback is the hardest job in football. Sure, but I think mentally it's the hardest job in football because there is nothing you can do where you will get credit.
No praise.
There's every other position. Yeah, there is some object or some possibility where you are the guy. Mm-hmm. You could be a middle linebacker, defensive end. You can get a sack. You can be a cornerback, safety. You can get a pick, and you're the guy. Everything on offense has the ability to get big plays, big yardage, and score. The offensive lineman is the only position on the entire field that you could play a perfect game. You could be the best player on the field, and unless you absolutely know the sport, nobody would notice. Yeah. The commons think that they're all the same, right? And to me, that absolutely 150% is relevant to your journey and to the things that you choose to do and where you are, because not everyone's built for that, man. Not everyone is built to be the guy in the shadows, to be the person that works the hardest and nobody knows, and that is an offensive lineman's mindset. That is truly what it is, because, I've said this before, Trent in San Francisco are probably the top 5 player in the league, and nobody even knows, unless you truly know the sport, you don't even know who he is. Commons don't even know who he is.
A Trent Williams jersey.
So that's a dope thing that I wanted to, make sure that I acknowledge in terms of, how you got to where you're at and what you found your calling in, because it absolutely is relevant. It is absolutely a part of kind of how you tick and how you make up who you are as a human being and as a person. And it's an awesome thing that you found yourself, a career in an industry where you are absolutely able to amplify that and monetize it and capitalize on it financially, right? Which is super dope and super sick.
Yeah, man, the game has always taken care of me. I'm being a little modest here, but, I didn't even mention, my coaching with the Cowboys. But, that's a whole different ball game, man, being in tune with the children. And so just to give a little background, I coach for the Dallas Football Cowboys, I coach with their youth football academy, and we coach kindergarten through 9th grade. And that is easily the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life.
No, helping children is such a dope thing.
It's so cool. And I mean, I'm down there in Jerry's world every day. You know, we have a good time. And football has obviously given me that opportunity. And the game has taken care of me, so it's only right that I take care of the game. But, make sure I give the love to the kids, man. That's literally probably my favorite thing I do in my life. Obviously, security pays the bills, but
yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
But it always is dope to be able to do that. So talk to us now about kind of how it's shaped now, what you do, what your career is, what it's built into. Because obviously you've created this. You talked to us about getting your licensing. So and weird enough, before you get into that, I want to point out this happened, and that's why I brought up the question of, what made you make this transition and this choice? Because this happened so quickly, and it happened so randomly to the outside. I remember I was talking to Marco. I think we were playing Xbox, so I'm on the mic with him, and we get a random message on Instagram. It's a long message, and it was like, "Hello, Kevin. You may remember me. I used to work for you back in the day. This is Christopher Jenkins. I've finally got my private security." And I remember reading this, and I'm like, "This motherfucker I know him, right?"
Yeah.
And but to me, it was dope because it was you in work mode, right? It was you turning on that switch, and it was you announcing and putting out there to the public, and that's marketing. And for me, I've always believed you truly stand on your product when you're willing to tell your friends. There's a lot of guys that I know that have some side jobs or side services or sell a product, and they won't send it to you. They kind of only want to share it with the people they don't know because they're afraid of how that's going to come off to them. But when you're willing to really put it out there and you're willing to put it out in a real professional format, you're serious about it. It's not a game. It's not a joke. You're taking this serious. You're really all in on it. And that was commendable to me. I thought the whole "you may remember me from" was a little bit funny to me, but it was commendable to me because it was professionalism. It was, hey, this is not a joke to me. This is what I do. So talk to us about kind of what your situation is. What you do, how they can find you.
Yeah. So. Man, at a point, once I got my private security license, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that is, it's private security. And you don't know who needs protection, right? And I kind of keep it to the night scene, just obviously because that's where it's used a little more. But my clientele, it ranges. And, I got a lot of entrepreneurs that, just want a night out from the kids and kind of just want a little chauffeur. And, I do the drive. From the venue to the venue. I make sure that you're good inside the venue. From the venue back to your,
Yeah, that peace of mind.
Man, that's all it is. But that's huge, That's so huge for people to be able to know.
To just let their hair down and just relax.
Let their hair down and literally just know, like, hey, man, you're good to go, right? Like, you don't have to worry about an Uber, nothing like that. It's all one, obviously, one set situation. And so I kind of parlayed that. And I'm not going to lie and act like it was all easy, man. Like, man, listen, the security game is tough. It's a shark eat shark world. I ain't even going to say dog eat dog because you got to really be built in a situation where you have to learn de-escalation fast. And obviously I'm a very good salesman. And so I kind of, just tailored that salesmanship to the night scene. Mm-hmm. And so like when someone's ready to fight and all this, man, come on, man. I'm kind of like the little Cobra guy with the, with the flu. Like I'm gonna just talk him right down. And so like, I think between that, like I said, the how you do anything is how you do everything mentality. Dude, if you're my client, I'm gonna treat you like you little baby, like you Drake. I don't care, I'm gonna treat you like I don't want you touching nothing. I don't need you opening the door. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you doing anything like that. I want you to absolutely enjoy your experience as me being a liaison from the venue. From the venue, you have armed protection. And then, from that, we make sure that you get you, to dinner, to whatever the case. And so that's just more of the night scene. But then, man, I've caught some really cool gigs, man. I've been able to be blessed with some really awesome opportunities. And, been working with a very awesome lady who's been kind of doing just like diagnostics works and things like that. I mean, she owns a whole diagnostic company. I'm being very modest on her, but just different opportunities definitely, yield more opportunities because once they see you're good at it, hey man, actually, I got a guy, who's been looking to have this, that, and the
it's momentum.
So, and that's all it is. But right, I was working free venues for months.
Yeah.
Betting on myself, knowing that I would just get tipped, right? But those clubs, I wasn't working for those clubs. I was showing up at those clubs in my suit, knowing I had my license, and I was building those relationships with those managers. Like, hey, man, who's not going to want free extra work?
Of course.
Right? And so I'm just like, dude, let me in here. Whatever I make is on me. Just, y'all don't have to pay me, though. Just let me in here. Right?
Yeah.
I got my business cards. I was able to kind of set it up that way, and I built a clientele, literally working free. And then after
let me ask you this, because that to me is super beneficial, but that's also super tough, right? You just that randomly popped into your head that you thought about that, somebody taught you that? I mean, your business practices, right? Because now you're in an industry where you're taking it serious, you're all in.
Right.
Where are you learning these business practices? You just making them up as you go?
A lot of it, I kind of watched. I have a mentor in this industry. Yes, sir. His name is Donald, and he kind of definitely geared me into telling me like, hey, man, you really might got a future in this. You know, like people really like you, and you know they really want. You know, people will show up to the club. Hey, man, is Chris here? You know, they want me to be their security guard, and so at a certain point, I actually obviously got hired by the venue, and now the venue, and so now I'm there, right, and people are seeking me, and then so long after I'm getting requests. You know, people are requesting me for me to be their security when they come to the venue because they've obviously booked the section, things like that. And I'm just thinking like, man, like, I might got, whatever, right? And so I finally really kind of got to a point where I'm just like, man, I'm going to just pass out cards like crazy. And like, if you need me, you need me.
Yeah.
And
to brand yourself.
Right.
Well, I asked because, man, when you brought up, going out there and just on a limb, on your own dollar, going out there to go market yourself and go show people what you do and developing and building relationships, man, as simple as that may seem to hear, on a podcast or to hear from a friend at a dinner or hear at a lunch or hear in a business meeting, it's not that easy.
It's not,
and there may be some people who know, I co-founded an event called the GlamourCon where we had a conference regarding, a lot of women's beauty. And one of the things that I talked about was, guys, if you're new into whatever you're doing, you gotta market yourself. And if you don't have a reputation or a book of business yet, a lot of that marketing may have to be just stuff you're giving out.
Dude, no kidding.
And it may suck because you see yourself as someone of value that has worth. Right. But at a certain point, you got to be more interested in the momentum than you are in that, that temporary income.
Right.
Because that stuff can catapult your career overnight,
Oh, absolutely.
And going out there doing what you did, man, it opens a lot of eyes and opens a lot of opportunities. But if you don't make that gamble, that doesn't happen.
Well, a gamble it is. And, I mean, I will say, I was able to kind of benefit, obviously, off of social media, right? I have a thing where I say, stay ready, right? That's my thing, right?
That's your mantra.
Yeah, that's my. I don't have a trademark or nothing like that. Maybe I should, but stay ready. And when you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Yeah. And people know that about me. There's not anyone in this industry that I'm in, or really, at this point nationwide, where they know that I won't give them the utmost service, obviously at a decent price, but that I'm coming absolutely professional, man. And too often with the security realm, we're tough guys and all of this, man. I don't give you that. I want the country club vibe for you.
Yeah.
I want you to feel like I'm Secret Service. I don't want there to be a situation where you feel like I'm a big black guy, right? So like I don't want you thinking I'm being too ghetto, right? Or anything like that, because I want this to be a generational thing. I want you to want me to protect your kids when they go out, which I have. I've got some clients where they're athletes and they have, younger siblings that I take care of when they're doing whatever. And so that's very beneficial to me to know, hey, man, not only do I got you, I got your family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm your personal private security.
Yeah, but a lot of that comes from your business culture, which is you saying, hey, I've determined how I want to do things. I've got the country club vibe. I mean, that's
serviceman. Hey, man, service obligates. You've been telling me that for
years.
For years, man. Service obligates. And it does, man. When you really show, like, I really personally want people to enjoy the experience of having private security. Like, it's not something that you might need every day, but maybe, you got you a date and you want to look like the man.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm going to make you look like the man. Just as simple as that. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm a humble dude, bro. I could care less, bro. Like, if you want me to yes, sir, you, no, sir, you, which I'm going to do anyway. But it's just about that. Like, it's about having that serviceman mentality. And it just, the benefits for me, the club industry loves that, dude.
Yeah.
Rappers, obviously, athletes, they love that, bro. they eat that up.
Yeah.
You know? And
I mean, getting service, almost like a private concierge, is such a value. But then you add in the safety and the security of security on top of it, and it's unmatched. So it's super dope to see not only that you have what you're doing, but you have a game plan behind it. You've created ultimately a way that you want to approach the game of the sport that you've decided to be in. I mean, you've obviously determined the culture in which you want to operate your business. You want to give the utmost professionalism. You want to give that upper repertoire feel, and that obviously allows you to, if we're being honest in the business realm, that obviously allows you to increase the value point and the price point because it comes with it.
Absolutely.
You're not going to pay the same for a steak, at Outback that you would at Nick and Sam's.
Simple as that.
And it could be the exact same steak. The difference is, how you're treated, how you feel, and the professionalism and the appeal and, the appearance of it. I mean, that's the only I mean, you could get the same steak, but you know what you're paying for because it comes with that. It comes with that vibe. It comes with that ambiance. So you in the business world, obviously saying that you're getting into this industry, you're infiltrating it, and you're bringing that to the table, and this is how you want to play the game is such a dope concept. I've got some rapid fire questions that I want to kind of rattle off to you, and kind of pick your brain if you're ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so first off, first question I ask a lot of people, not which one matters more to you, but which one gives you a higher variation of emotion? Meaning, which one do you feel a difference more? Do you love to win or do you hate to lose?
I hate losing.
Okay.
That shit pisses me off, bro. I don't care if you eating your cereal faster than me. Yeah, I hate to lose, bro. Absolutely.
That's a dope answer.
Yeah, I hate to lose, bro.
Yeah.
Winning's cool, bro. And here's the thing, though. You show me a good loser, I'm going to show you a loser. People kill me when they go, oh, you're a sore loser. Yeah, I am. I don't want to. Who's a good loser? That's crazy to me. Yeah. Yes, I'm a sore loser. Absolutely, I'm a sore loser. I hate losing.
Yeah, which we have obviously very in common. Which we've had some great battles in some sports and stuff. But losing to me gives me much higher variation. And my answer is a little bit different. I mean, I've always said the reason losing bothers me more than winning is because I expect to win. For me, I don't feel great about winning because I felt like I was supposed to win.
I'm not sure if we're doing clips, but that's gonna be a good thumbnail right there. I ain't gonna lie.
But that's real talk though. I expected to win. Yeah. Now when I lose, it's a completely twist in the plan, and that shit's not fun. Next question. If money was not an object, if you were at a position where money mattered nothing, where would you live in the world?
I don't have to pay nothing?
No.
Obviously, me and the wife. I'm going to probably go. It's not going to be America. I'll answer it that way. I don't know where I'll go, but what are you
looking for? Are you looking for cold? You looking for hot? You looking for tropical?
I wouldn't mind hot, but no, I'm looking for treatment. What I have found is everywhere that I go outside of America, people treat black people so much nicer. I'm going to just call a spade here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, maybe to be close to home, I'd go up to Canada maybe. But, no, yeah, I'm definitely cool with, I'm not mad at maybe if money's not an object. I'm not mad at like a DR or like a St.
But you want fast, you want slow, you want tropical vibes, you want industrial. What are you?
That's
looking
why I
for?
wasn't really too much. Mexico's dope too. I probably would live in Mexico actually, because Mexico you still get the city vibe. It's America's right up north. I probably would go to Mexico. I would choose between like. Yeah, I'd go Mexico.
And everybody knows I love Mexico.
I'd definitely go Mexico. Only reason I'm thinking that is just because all my family is still in the States. So I don't want to go so far where, they're not going to be able to come and see me. But Mexico's a nice rock throwaway. I'll be all right. It's no different than me living down here in Texas. I basically live in Mexico now.
Yeah, Mexico down the street, man. It's a 2-hour flight.
I'm going to go Mexico. If money's not an object, you're going to catch me somewhere, maybe like a nice little Cancun, nice.
Yeah, okay. So talk to us about, next question is ultimately, let's say the vision of what you're trying to create. Obviously we've brought, a little bit into, kind of your current endeavor, your current business, when it's all, and obviously things take time, brick by brick, you build what you want. Mm-hmm. What's it look like when it's built?
When it's built for me, I'm kind of at a crossroads right now just because I don't know, if I want to really get it going where I'm like kind of consulting for others and really kind of putting others in the positions that I've been put in. I'm not saying that I'm selfish like that. It's just, it's an industry, man. Like, it's kind of like sports broadcasting. Like, dude, you don't die. Like, if I want to be an ESPN broadcaster, this dude's been, Scott Van Pelt been there for, 30 years?
Yeah, forever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like that, right? So, when it's done for me, ideally, man, which I do have now, but I get really just like a home run client that is just like, hey, man, you're my lifer. Make sure me and the kids are straight. Like, man, between me, you, and the fence post, I've seen some security officers get written in wills, stuff like that.
Yeah, to be locked in on that one guy.
Yeah, so if I can ever, when it happens, because
which is dope.
I put the work in, man. It's cool now because I'm in tight with a lot of SMU cats now, and they're all starting to graduate and like get careers and stuff. And it's like I've known them since they were literally like little frat boy college kids, and like they're kind of growing up on me now. And it's just like, man, like.
Yeah, you may catch a minnow that turns into a shark.
Yeah.
Which is dope, and honestly, it's awesome that you brought it up. Obviously, as we roll out season 2, there's obviously a lot of announcements behind Gabe and I, becoming business partners with Elevate1 Media. And in the previous rollout, Edwin and I were doing it, and Edwin is someone I'm obviously super proud of. Edwin is a very similar situation where him and I were obviously in the media business, and Edwin landed a shark. Edwin is a full-time, media person for T. Jones, who's an awesome upcoming rapper, part of the GME label, and that's what he does full time. Nice. He follows that guy all over the place. I talked to Edwin, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and them fools in South America right now on a world tour. They've been in 3 or 4 different countries.
But like, yeah, dude, if I could catch a,
but it is dope to me, and it's dope that you say that because that's it. And for me, I'm also reminiscing and. Obviously paying homage to Edwin, who helped me, roll this business out and help me start this podcast. And it's super dope to see where he is. And I told him, recently how proud I am and how happy I am for him because he's living his best life and he's doing it, on hard work, right? It's not, I'm just along for the ride. It's, hey man, I've got a role to play in this organization and those guys are doing some awesome stuff. So it's dope to see that. And it's cool that you brought that up because, when that's your intention, it's awesome to see that kind of pan out. And I know we're going to see you land that big
Absolutely,
fish.
Man.
Okay, this is a tougher one that I ask people both professionally and personally. It's a curveball. It's not really business related, but I ask everybody this.
Just do it.
One restaurant every day, rest of your life. Got to be a chain. Can't be nothing we ain't heard of. Don't name no Chicago crap that nobody knows.
I got you. I'm with you.
What is it?
Is health involved?
It's every day, the rest of your life.
McDonald's.
Oh man, really?
I'm a slut for McDonald's.
You telling me you're not going to get tired?
Can I not have anything else?
No, it's it. One place.
Yeah, Mickey D's. I can go breakfast. I can go lunch.
They only got 5 things.
Yeah, but they're goated.
But you're telling me if you ate McDonald's every day the rest of your life, you're going to be all right. You're not going to get tired of that by second month.
Have we now? I've been eating McDonald's 30 years. Well, maybe like 26 years, but
and I've asked that question to maybe 100 people. I've never gotten the McDonald's. I've never gotten that answer in my life.
I love McDonald's, and it's a problem because I've been doing better. I haven't been eating it because I'm trying to get in shape and like just do better. McDonald's is terrible for you, but if you're going to handcuff me to one restaurant forever, man, what Mickey D's me? Yeah. I can go steak, egg, and cheese bagel one day. I can go McGriddle. I go Big
It's not
Mac,
the right answer. My answer is the right answer.
Where are you going?
I've said it before, but I'll say it again. The right answer. No. Listen, I'm looking for variety. I'm not looking for highest quality. I'm looking for variety. I'm looking to not get tired of this place. I'm looking to have a lot of options. There's only one restaurant that's a chain on the planet that has a 72-page menu.
You talking about cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
I ain't mad at cheesecake. I didn't know I had cheesecake like.
Yeah, I'm going Cheesecake Factory, man. You got everything.
I'm sticking Mickey D's.
Yeah,
here's my reasoning. I don't want to have to go and sit and deal with cheesecake every single day. Like, that's low-key a tax, bro. Like, it's a 40-minute wait to get in there, right? Then you got to wait the 40 minutes. You get in. All right.
You can DoorDash it.
It's okay. It's subpar. Listen, okay. I'm sticking
It's
with my
2024, answer. Man. We DoorDashing everything.
I'm sticking with my answer, bro. Mickey D's is goated. And then there's so many different options. I can go salad. I could go. Don't let them fuck around. But don't let them bring back like the Crunch Wrap or something like that. You gonna be mad. I can eat chicken nuggets.
You ain't a bunch of mid stuff. You might as well say
there's not one thing coming from McDonald's that's mid though. It's just bad for you. So it just is what it is. But there's not one single item in McDonald's that's mid.
The McRib.
I almost walked off this podcast.
You're a fan of it? Look, we're not about to get into McDonald's.
Oh, my God.
It's not a McDonald's debate. The McRib is absolute.
The McRib is gas. Filet of fish, gas. Dude, you can get and granted, none of these are real meats, but you can go beef. You can go chicken. You can go fish. You can go pork.
Definitely not real meat.
McDonald's.
Okay, so I want to obviously give a shout out, as we start to close the podcast, new homeowner.
Dude.
Talk to us about quickly that process and how that all played out.
Dude, man, shout out to the wife too, man. She was real pivotal in this. Happy wife, happy life, bro. Woman wanted the house, so you make it happen. Mm-hmm. Just kind of keep it as square as that.
So how long you guys been deciding? So how long you guys been married? How long you guys been deciding on getting a house?
Well, so we were supposed to close last year, man, and some stuff fell through. So we were obviously just waiting this whole year trying to make it happen, and went less, man. We lived in Lower Greenville. It was nice, but we just needed a crib. Like it was that time.
It was time, yeah. How long you guys been married?
We've been married 3 years.
Nice. And then y'all just closed when?
Less than like a month, probably like 3 weeks ago.
And just moved in as of recent, right? Mm-hmm. Already moved everything in.
I'm already, yeah, dude. I don't play that shit. I got in. I make sure my stuff's set up.
Nice. Already got the decorations up or what?
For the most part, women, bro. We get like a knick-knack from Amazon every other day, but we got the couches in. We probably just got a couple more odds and ends before we get the housewarming kicked off. But yeah, man, it's ready to go pretty much. It's fun, man. The dog loves it. Got all this yard. I love it. Got a lot of space. It's cool, man. Owning just knowing that like I'm done paying rent.
Yeah,
rent sucked, and it's just like, dude, it wasn't going towards nothing. So
now you building equity.
Yeah,
nice.
And I mean, shit, we could probably flip. I mean, we literally could sell it now. It would be up. So
and it's Dallas, man. It's the hottest market out right now,
for sure. Talk
to me about. I think I've got two more. Talk to me about your New Year's resolutions. What are those things that you set? What are those things that you're working on?
I kind of got to. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm not really too big on New Year's resolutions because I kind of keep myself to a pretty high personal standard year round. Mm-hmm. I don't like to have like just it's a new year. No, I'm the same me, bro. I'm just trying to better myself, right? I'm taking things and I'm all about improvement. But to answer the question, if I did have a New Year's resolution, it's gonna be really just kind of honing in on different crafts that like make me more money. And I know that kind of sounds a little show, but like I want to maybe just try to like get more streams of income. Truly, I mean, and just find different ways to get like more streams of solid, awesome income. Like I want to be able to start making money when I sleep, and I know that is, nothing but some research away. Oh, also, you know what? I can give you a good one. Read more. I'm definitely getting into books more, bro. I nerded out. I went to Half Price Books, bro. I spent like $150.
Those guys still open?
Dude, are they? I caught a nice little Black Friday special. No, I went in there, man. I spent like $150 on some books, man. I got some Sumerian mythology coming in. I got some like Norse mythology coming in, Greek mythology coming in. I got some real heavy stuff, but that's just what I'm into reading. So
nice.
History repeats itself. It's kind of cool to just kind of get the front end on it. So then when I see all this crazy shit go down now, it's like, well,
yeah. Yeah, and I've always said, one of the things I bring up as we talk about that, I've obviously forced myself to read. I hate reading, but I read quite a bit because I have to, and it's what, obviously drives success. But one of those things that I'm huge on, which I think is such an easy avenue towards success, is I'm a huge documentary watcher. Mm. I mean, that is my greatest love is docs.
How do you feel about audiobooks?
For me, when I read, so I have a very keen way on how I read books. It's not cheap. It's the most costly way to do it, but it's a way that I know that I'm going to retain the information, and that information is going to translate into me being better and making more money. So I see it as an investment. But every book that I purchase, or anytime I want to read a book, I purchase the hard copy. Right. I then go on Audible and I purchase the audiobook. I play it in my ears as I read it, and I highlight things that resonate with me.
As he's reading.
And everybody's different, right? They're audio learners or visual learners. For me, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Mm-hmm. I let them listen. I let them play it in my ear because I'm not a fan of reading. I get bored of it. But when they play it in my ear, I'll follow along and I'll highlight. And that's truly how I felt the most success, where I get to the point where I can go through a book once and I can regurgitate it. Okay. I can teach it. I can host a seminar on it if you need me to. Okay. And that's given me the most success. So I buy it on Audible. I buy it on Amazon, which obviously means you're buying it twice.
For sure.
So I'm not saying it's cheap, but I know for a fact when I finish that book, it's going to be impactful on my life. I know that for a fact. But I've gotten into docs, and everybody who knows me knows, everybody knows, my Instagram is GOAT because I'm obsessed with greatness. I'm absolutely obsessed and infatuated with greatness. And I watch documentaries on greatness. I don't care what it's about. I don't care what aspect or fathom of life it's regarding. I just want to see and witness greatness. And I'm right now watching this new doc that Netflix just came out about Alexander the Great, and it is
tough, bro.
It's sick, and and he's always resonated with me at a high level, being that my middle name is Alexander, and I'm obsessed with greatness. So it's been a dope thing, and I'm glad that you kind of brought that up. But I've always said, documentaries, man. If you just watch people who are great, whatever they do, if you just watch how they became great at what it is they do,
success leaves clues.
It leaves clues, man.
And you can show you the way.
You can take it and you can apply it to whatever it is that you do in whatever aspect of life that you're in. So, which is super dope. So, final question of the night: what is the final picture? Obviously, I talked to you about what the painted picture is in your business and what you're trying to accomplish and landing that shark and landing that big fish. Your life, because obviously your life in the last 5-6 years has changed drastically from what it was 6 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. You're obviously a lot more established in the business world. You're an adult now. You're married. You guys have bought a home. The settlement has kind of happened, right? What is the final picture of your life as a person, as a human being on this earth? What does Chris Jenkins, look like when he's finished developing as an individual?
It's a good question, man. I think, honestly, it's always about impact. I've been able to positively impact a couple people with me already. I moved my sister out here, moved a couple of my homeboys out here. And, man, I want, right, for the end of the day, like, really no one, even now, you're never going to really ask around. At least I like to think so. And someone say really ill things about me, right? Mm-hmm. I leave a good taste. And I'm a pretty palatable guy, right? And so I just want, after it's all said and done, man, I live a good life right now, man. The Lord has blessed me. I have a beautiful wife. I'm successful in my industry. And so I just want the momentum to keep going. But as far as it goes with, like, the end game, it's about the journey, bro. It's about the appreciation. I don't ever want to get to a point where I don't remember me working at a Dairy Queen, right? Yeah. I don't ever want to get to a point where I don't know that it took this, because then I can't impact someone else.
Of course.
And so I think it's just really important to me to just appreciate the journey, man. Tomorrow not promised, bro.
Of course not.
Obviously I don't want this to happen, but this could be my last time seeing you, right? Like, it's always important for me to just appreciate the now, Obviously put yourself in positions to win during the future, but you really got to just appreciate this stuff, man. Life is so short, man. Call your moms, call your dad, bro. Like, if you're not great with your family, call your friends, bro. Like, check in with yourself. Go work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, people be like, I'm going to go work out tomorrow. And tomorrow ain't promised. It cracks me up. People set alarms. I mean, granted, I do it. But it's so, man, it's so crazy to me that, like, you're just so absolutely sure that you're waking up tomorrow to set that alarm.
Yeah.
And so, like, I always just really kind of hone in on just appreciating it now, man. And, it's such a, I guess, common thing to say now, but really, man, stand 10 toes down, bro. Whatever morals and core values you grew up with, make sure that you really believe in them and apply them. Yeah. Because you're an adult now. Like, I'm grown, bro. I'm super grown. Like, it ain't nobody else to depend on but me at this point, right?
Of course.
And so it's really just important for me to keep myself to a high standard and hold myself accountable to things that I find important. And, lead my marriage and, lead a godly life, lead the children that I coach, lead the, clients I liaison for, lead everything. You just want to make sure that you're leaving a positive impact on anybody, man. And so that's really kind of my end game. I just want to be a positive person, bro. Just real talk, spirituality-wise and all that.
I'll say this to cap it, and I think it's very suiting, where we are in the year. But, man, Kobe said you got to leave the game better than you picked it up.
Real talk.
And a lot of things that you said really kind of resonated with that. Is you come into this world, man, and I've always and I'll say this, man. My greatest fear in life is that I live my life and I'm not significant. And that word is very special to me because your significance is just did you leave any impact on being on this planet? And there's a great percentage of people who will walk this planet and leave it, and their existence just didn't change anything. And I'm not trying to sound like a Debbie Downer or a negative Nancy, but at the end of the day, did you impact this world in any way, shape, or form? I mean, that to me is significance. and my motivation, similar to kind of yours, is when I get to the end and my time comes. And I've always said this before. You know, my journey I talked about, I think, on Marco's episode. You know, I attempted suicide. I feel like I'm on borrowed time. And for me, I live this earth, and I live my life on this earth very, very strongly that I am on borrowed time. I'm on house money, and I'm okay with being called home tomorrow. But when I get there, and I do get called home, I want to be able to pull out a scroll and go, God, these are the names of all the people whose lives are different because I walk this earth. Had you not placed me here, these names would not be where they are. And that is my greatest motivation. That is my greatest fuel. That is my genuinely my purpose, and what I believe as to why I'm on this planet is to change and impact as many lives as possible. And that to me means I was significant. That means that when I was on this earth and me getting the privilege and opportunity to be a human on planet Earth, I lived a life of significance, and it mattered that I was here. So I absolutely appreciate you being on our show today. I absolutely appreciate you gracing us with your presence. I absolutely appreciate you showing us, you know, the insides of kind of how you became who you are and where you are in life, man. And as always, it's all love, man. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, man. Real talk.
Thank you. We appreciate all you guys for joining us today. Thanks.